this one is not so much a letter, but just some advice. And it's just a two-pronged kind of
Okay.
question here. So, dear Zia and Lack, Lia and Zach, the owner is letting me know that the property now is for rent and under contract for another year. What options can I offer them about, I guess it looks like from an investment standpoint? The two-pronger here is they said that I'm already earning enough by having the property rented out. So it sounds like this is just, a cold call or a database call, and they know that they have a property. It's being rented out under contract right now, and they are happy with the earnings.
Yeah. So the first thing is I've mentioned this on some of our other videos. We'll probably keep mentioning it, which is one of my favorite books. I love it for the story. I love it for the information, and I really love it for the time. It's a 4-hour book, and that's 7L, the Seven Levels of Communication by Michael Masterson. And I remember the author. I've read it 3 or 4 times. It's fantastic, and highly recommend. Blah 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 blah. What I'm getting at is the Chosen One script. The Chosen One script is more or less, it's, hey, who do you go to when you have a real estate need? Be that to buy or sell, you need a contractor, a tax attorney. Do you have somebody that you trust to go make sure you're working with the right professional? And sometimes they'll say, yeah, I asked my Uncle Fred. And other times they say, I don't really know. A lot of the times they say Yelp. And the next question is, what would it take for me to be that go-to person? I want to be your go-to real estate person. Am I the chosen one? Right. And this is where, kind of bigger picture as an agent, this really applies, which is how can I really provide value? Yeah, I can get your home sold for top dollar. I can help you find the right home and make sure it is what you think it is. What else can I do? Well, I have great connections through the entire industry. I can be a lifetime partner with you going through anything real estate related, right? And so that's why I want to be the chosen one. So for this particular person, does he need a property manager, right? Would he be interested in 5 months when this lease is coming up? Does he want to renew it? Does he want to sell? That'd be like the perfect timing to send him a home evaluation. And if you've been calling him once a month up until then, you're not a weird person.
Yes, I was gonna mention that, like, being the chosen one, right? It comes across as potentially that there has been some sort of rapport built up, or at least some extra calls that have happened like before. So that is maybe a script that could be used once you've had this. And it's like, how do I add value? How do I switch up the script that this person's not like, oh gosh, they keep saying the same thing on the phone every single time they call me every 2 months or every 3 months. That's a great point. Like, let's have some rapport, let's add some value, and let's ask for the connection or like some sort of promissory, like, hey, I'm sticking out here. Let me show you what I can do.
Exactly. It's all about building relationships. You have to be thinking, everything has to be thought of in terms of 2, 5, 10, 15, 30 years. Anytime you bring the time scale shorter than that, it's just not going to work. If you're talking about spending money, it's gambling. Whether you're buying a house or you're buying Dogecoin, if we're talking about 6 months, you're gambling. Now, 10, 15 years, yeah, we can be fairly confident in what's going to happen unless it's Dogecoin. But for everything else, we can be relatively confident. The same thing in personal development, like we talked about in the beginning of this. Gary Keller said, I think it's Gary Keller, he keeps saying that people vastly overestimate what they can do in 1 year and vastly underestimate what they can do in 5. You really need to get in the habit of thinking of things in terms of 5, 10 years. So when this comes into talking to a prospect, right, I'm trying to build a relationship beyond get a listing, beyond anything else. I'm trying to cultivate a relationship with this person so that I become their go-to person, so that when they have a family member talking about selling, they feel compelled to introduce their family member who they care about to me because they want their family member to be in the best position. This comes from building a relationship, not from marketing alliance.
Yeah, that's a great point. And even just bringing that up, like, this business to us or this business to my agent is relationship based for our community. So that is why we're reaching out. And this is why we want to connect with you. This is why we want to meet. This is why we want to just have that introduction so that you do have someone to trust. Just put it out there. Just put out,
And
we're here for a relationship. Yeah. It's not just a
completely.
transaction.
Completely. And then as an ISA, the one thing I would, recommend if you're listening to this going, well, that's what you do if you're an agent. Everything is how you identify it, right? I identify as this, I identify as that. When I was an ISA, I was convinced I was better than an agent. They say, are you a real estate agent? No, I'm not an agent. I'm an ISA. That means my job is to connect you to the appropriate professional. I'm better than an agent. Isn't it great you got a chance to talk to me?
Yeah.
And sometimes I would say parts of that, not the more arrogant ones, but I would say parts of that. But I would think the whole thing because it adjusts the way you talk, right? And as an agent, I readjusted that. Yes, I'm an agent and I'm on a team. My job is to connect you to the appropriate professionals all the way through it. If we're buying something, I'm making sure we've got the right lender, the right appraiser, the right inspectors, that you completely understand what's going on. I love teaching, and that's why I'm in this. If we're selling, then it's because I'm able to get the right marketing team, the right ad people, the right call centers. Everything is set up correct with the right professional. And I'm able to articulate this to you in a way that you're calm, confident, and going to lead with the top dollar. And if you're just somebody that owns real estate, I'm going to keep reaching out to you because I care about you. And I'm going to make sure that whenever you need something related, be it problems with your taxes, thank you, Biden, for 60%. Oh, God. If it's building your house, so I wouldn't recommend that at the moment with lumber prices. If it's getting a plumber, I can be that guy to make sure that your bathroom doesn't leak worse when they leave.
Exactly. And even just kind of looking at it on the other side here, this is something that they don't want to entertain because they've got it rented out. They think they're making enough money. That's just a one-sided portion of someone's potential whole portfolio. Is this person an investor? Do they want to see how they can grow their portfolio and add an additional rental property to it? Could you potentially match them up, like you said, with potentially a mortgage lender who can refinance that property, pull money out, and now they can do another deal, and you were the one that lined everything up for them? Don't worry so much about thinking they're rejecting you because this specific property is unavailable, and they're not interested in working with that. But open their eyes, to the opportunity to grow their portfolio if that's something that your agent is, focused on. Like I come from a more of an investment focused team. Same with you, Zach, I believe. So it's great to have kind of those scripts to know how to speak to an investor specifically as well on if their goals could match up with your agent, which could help them down the road as well.
I love that you bring that up, and that's kind of the mindset side of that is I want to have the conversation that they're trying to have, right? If you're talking to someone, I love that you brought that up. Just like if you're talking to somebody that's an investor, I want to understand how they look at a property. How do they look at their money? Are they just real estate investors? Do they invest in the stock market? Do they invest here, there, wherever it is? I want to understand the conversation that they have. From there, I can find out if I can help them. Maybe I can't. Right? There are some people that have their money exactly set up as it's supposed to be, and I'll check in 6 months, see if it changed. But until I start having their conversation, I don't know. And if you find yourself getting hung up on all the time, or you just can't get the appointment and you don't understand why, you're having your conversation and not theirs. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree there. Yeah, you're trying to push your own agenda with your own questions potentially, because again, it is a script-based, style that is trained, being educated, we are all educated on going through those scripts like that. So just maybe we could offer you some investor focused scripts, or see if your team lead has, some investor focused scripts, and switch it up. Know who you're speaking to. Oh, am I speaking with an investor? Is this something that you've done, for a long time? Did you just start getting into it? How do you like it so far? What are your goals with it? Just simple.
100%. 100%. Do you have anything else to add on that?
I just think outside the box sometimes, right? We get concerned about our questions being denied because we're trying to take it one direction. And I think that's just a reiteration of what you said, like don't make it your own conversation. So other than that, yeah, just keep going with it and just offer something new to the table every time. And the ideas are endless of how you can kind of like direct a conversation. If you've got them on the phone, the first thing is to try to keep them on the phone, and the next direct the conversation how you're reading the situation, which just takes some time. Anything else?
Completely. No, you covered it. Well, I hope you guys found that helpful. If anybody has any questions about different calls they were on or anything like that, we'd always love to help. See if there's any value we can add.